What's happening? All right, so I got some friends coming over tonight, but I'm gonna cook some steaks. We're gonna have a blast, and I'm gonna show you how to do that. There's only a couple things that you really need. You need some steaks first. Ribeyes, preferably, strips, whatever, I don't really care. Go get what you like. A little bit of butter, some garlic, some spring onions, some shallots, some thyme, salt, pepper. But you gotta have the tools. Tools are important. Luckily, for two big steaks like this, I can't use a small pan, right? So luckily, Smithey just came out with this big old 14. That's what I'm talking about. Nice, polished, cast, gives me a great sear, gives me conductivity for the beef to actually stick to this thing and give me the sear that I'm looking for. Sear, texture, flavor, it's what you're looking for. We got the tools, we got the mission, let's get at it.
We're gonna aggressively season the steak with more salt and pepper than you actually need. Because as the protein cooks, it will release what it doesn't need.
Now, pan is hot, right? But what we're gonna do, all right? You come in here and look at this. There's no crevices, there's no cracks, there's no holes. It's perfectly polished. That's gonna help with your sear, right? A little bit of oil, nothing crazy. Kind of start to see that it's getting there. That smoke is kind of rippling. The oil's there. Now, steaks away from you. Walk away.
Just step back. Get your glass of wine, say hi to one of your friends, get a high five, whatever you want to do. Just relax. Let the pan do its job.
The beautiful part of this. Not touching it, letting the pan do its job, letting it chemically react to this area of the beef, right? What you're seeing right now is you're seeing the moisture coming through the steak, drying itself out, and slowly getting that crust that we want, right? Just let it sit. No touchy. If you start to move it around, you're gonna, at this point, it's not stuck to the ground. It's already got the sear, right? But not really where we want it to be. Because a lot of people will start cooking a steak and they're gonna flip it like 16 times. Stop it. We're only gonna flip it a couple of times. So if you're gonna do it, make it count. If you can start to see the texture start to change around the outside of this, that's what you're looking for. But wanna take a look-see? Let's take a look-see, come on. That's pretty good. See that browning, that Maillard, that salt, that pepper? It's still here too. I could have let that go just a little bit longer. It's all right. Right now, this is just poetry in motion, right? The pan, perfectly seasoned, perfectly flat, doing its job, letting this you start to see there's more oil in there than there was before. That's because we're rendering out the fat on the cap of that ribeye. Here, we're working. We're working means the pan is working. I'm not doing anything. Look at this right here. See that texture? That's good sear. That's because of the pan. That's because we didn't move it around, right? See how it's kind of grayish here, and here? We're gonna, when we start to baste, we'll work through that. All right? So let's just take a looky. Boom. Another great sear. Look at that. Can it get better than that? I don't think so. That is because that pan is perfection. Now, throw a couple of these onions in. Shallots. A few cloves of garlic. right, we're just gonna let this start to melt. Now we're gonna let this butter start to brown a little bit, right?
We're gonna take our spoon, start to baste the steak, right? We're just developing a better structure, a better crust, a better flavor into the steak. We're gonna develop that crust foolproof. Now we're gonna flip the steak over and baste the other side. Again, be very, very careful. The butter does not care if it's cooking the steak or your hand. All right, we're gonna insert the cake tester on the side, put it in, and then feel it on some of the softest parts of your body, like on your wrist. Just think about you're checking a baby's bottle. Where would you check that milk, the temperature of the milk? Right on the inside of your wrist or at the bottom of your lip?
Pull this one. Put it right there. This one, I'm just gonna play with it a little bit, all right? Yeah. Bam, 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 bam.
All right, let's take the steak out, put it on a tray, and let it rest. If I put it straight onto a cutting board, I'm gonna have temptation to go ahead and cut it, but we're gonna let this rest on a little metal tray so that I can't cut it. We're gonna let it go for about 4 to 5 minutes, and then we're gonna slice.
Pan is off, right? No more heat, but because there's so much in here, the heat is just like hanging out, right? It's not ready to go home yet. So you gotta be careful with it, but also like, let's just go ahead and baste these shallots up, right? Let's get this going. Heat is off, all right? But that it's just holding that temp so fine. Onions, some garlic. Let's take my guy right here. That's for me. The party platter, you know what I'm saying? Look at that, still hot, ready to go. This one, same thing. You got that spinalis, you got that eye, you got that tail piece for me, right? A little mushroom.
I'm gonna pull these garlic cloves and put it on top of the steak, the onions on top of the steak. I made myself an onion salad with it.
I mean, that's calling your friends for dinner. That's perfection.